Soul contracts are said to guide our life experiences, our relationships, challenges, and personal growth. But what happens if you decide to revoke your soul contract? Can you really change what your soul agreed to before coming into this life? Let's discuss this idea in simple terms. A soul contract is often described as a spiritual plan your soul creates with other souls before incarnating on Earth. It's like an outline of the lessons you are meant to learn, the people you will meet, and the experiences that will help you grow. In this contract, your soul agrees to go through certain situations that will help you evolve. You might meet specific people, a soulmate, a teacher, a friend, or even a rival, all of whom play a part in your awakening. Every joy, heartbreak, challenge, or breakthrough is part of that bigger spiritual design. These contracts are not written on paper, of course. They are energetic agreements formed from the higher consciousness level of your soul before you enter the physical world. From that higher perspective, your soul knows exactly what experiences will trigger your growth, even if those experiences feel painful or confusing in human form. In life, we may reach a point where a specific experience or connection no longer serves our growth. How do you know this? You feel stuck, drained, or constantly repeating the same patterns. You might notice yourself attracting the same types of people, facing the same emotional struggles, or finding that certain relationships feel heavy rather than inspiring. It feels like you've already learned what you needed to learn from those experiences, yet they keep replaying. This is often the first sign that a soul contract may have run its course. The lessons that once helped you expand may now limit your growth. When this happens, you may begin to feel restless, as if something deep inside is calling for a change. That's when the idea of revoking a soul contract begins to surface in your awareness. Revoking a soul contract means choosing to release the energetic or spiritual agreement that no longer aligns with your current path. It doesn't mean you are rejecting your spiritual growth. It means you are taking back your free will and deciding to move in a new direction. You are telling the universe that you've learned enough from that particular experience and are ready to grow in a new way. This act is not one of rebellion, but of awareness. You are not saying no to your destiny. You are saying yes to your evolution. Every soul has free will, and that means you can always choose differently once you've integrated the lessons from a certain path. Think of it like graduating from a course. Once you've learned the material, you don't need to stay in the classroom forever. Revoking a soul contract is like walking out of that classroom with gratitude, not because the class was bad, but because it fulfilled its purpose. When you decide to revoke a soul contract, the first thing that happens is that you start feeling free. You may begin to feel lighter, as if all the heavy weight you've carried for years is starting to lift. Suddenly, old memories may no longer trigger pain the way they used to. You might notice a sense of emotional clarity, like fog lifting from your mind and heart. You begin to see your life from a higher perspective. You also start to experience small but powerful shifts. Maybe you wake up one morning feeling hopeful for no apparent reason. You may find it easier to forgive or to release an attachment that once felt impossible to let go of. You begin to reclaim your energy, and with it, your sense of direction. Old emotional wounds may begin to heal faster because you've released the spiritual attachment that kept you repeating the same lessons. You no longer feel bound by invisible strings to the same people, places, or patterns. This emotional release can feel like breathing fresh air after being underwater for a long time. After this, your life may begin to change. Sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. People who were part of that old contract might drift away, or you might lose interest in things that used to hold your attention. This can feel unclear or even uncomfortable at first. It might seem like your life is falling apart, but in truth, it's falling into place. The universe starts aligning you with new situations and people who match your higher vibration and new direction. New opportunities often appear out of nowhere. You might meet someone who encourages your growth in ways you never expected, or find yourself drawn to a new environment, purpose, or creative pursuit. It's as if the universe begins responding to your new frequency, rearranging your outer world to match the inner shift you've made. During this period, it's essential to trust the process. Things may not make perfect sense immediately. Some endings may feel bittersweet. But remember, endings are often disguised beginnings. When you revoke a soul contract, you're simply making space for something greater to unfold. Some people worry that revoking a soul contract could have negative consequences or go against divine order. But if you understand what you are doing and know that your intention is rooted in self-love and growth, then you have nothing to fear. The universe is not rigid, it's fluid and responsive to your free will. Revoking a soul contract doesn't mean you're rejecting your purpose. It means you're consciously co-creating your reality with the universe. Think of it as updating your spiritual map. The destination, growth, love, evolution, is still the same, but the route you take to get there can change. Your higher self and the universe always work together to support your freedom of choice. Free will is sacred. It's part of the reason you came here in the first place. So when you decide to release what no longer serves you, you're not breaking a cosmic rule. You're honoring the truth that growth is continuous and dynamic. Revoking a soul contract does not erase your past experiences or the lessons you've already learned. Those experiences remain valuable. They helped shape who you are today. It simply means you are no longer bound to repeat the same emotional cycles. You've learned the lesson, received the wisdom, and can now move forward freely. In many ways, it's like closing a chapter in a book. The story doesn't disappear. It becomes part of your history. But now you get to write a new chapter, one that reflects your current level of awareness and spiritual maturity. You are now free to create new contracts, ones that match your evolving energy and deeper understanding of yourself. Revoking a soul contract is about empowerment. You realize that you are not powerless to destiny or to spiritual agreements made long ago. You now know that you have the right to evolve, to outgrow specific lessons, and to choose new paths. And the more you align with your true self, the more precise your soul's direction becomes. When you begin to live consciously, life stops feeling like something that happens to you and starts feeling like something that happens through you. You start to see yourself as a co-creator, an active participant in your journey, rather than a passive observer of fate. You become more intentional with your choices. You begin to set boundaries, speak your truth, and pursue what feels authentic. This shift is what true spiritual freedom looks like. A life guided by awareness rather than obligation. You begin a new chapter of your life, one guided by freedom, awareness, and conscious choice. The past no longer controls you. You no longer live from old programming or karmic debts that keep you stuck in cycles of pain. Now you start living life from a place of inner truth rather than obligation. You create new experiences aligned with your heart's desires and soul's evolution. And that is where real spiritual growth begins, not from being tied to old agreements, but from realizing that you always have the power to choose again. When you revoke a soul contract, you're not erasing your journey, you're reclaiming your authorship. You are declaring to the universe, I am ready to live consciously. I am ready to evolve. And in that declaration, your soul expands into its next level of freedom.